promise me one thing. No matter what I'm about to tell you, never try to look for this place. This is not a work of fiction, not an exaggerated legend. I have been there, to a place that, by all logic, should not exist. A city whose gates open for only a few minutes during a total lunar eclipse. I saw its inhabitants. I felt its cold, ancient air. And most terrifying of all, I saw their hourglass. Time there moves incredibly fast, and if you are even 1 minute too late, your fate will be the same as the others, trapped forever between dimensions. It felt like a nightmare, one that was painfully real. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I know you've been curious about today's topic, and honestly, it took a lot of courage for me to finally tell this story. It all started with my habit of documenting natural phenomena, especially lunar eclipses. That journey took me deep into the Scottish Highlands, Scotland, to a remote area said to be one of the best places to witness a blood moon. The locals there were quiet, reserved, and they all gave me the same warning. When the moon is completely covered, never look toward the eastern valley. They spoke of something they called the night city, a city that appears only briefly, like a single breath. At first, I thought it was just a myth meant to scare tourists. But the more they warned me, the stronger my instincts became. Without fully realizing it, I began planning a solo expedition to prove whether this city truly existed.
Folklore is common in places like this, but this story was different. It was precise, detailed, almost factual. According to the elders, the city was once a prosperous settlement that broke an ancient pact with the universe itself. Punishment, they were not destroyed, they were sealed. Their existence was locked away, allowed to manifest in our dimension only during the most extreme cosmic alignment, a total lunar eclipse. They called it a city imprisoned by time and light. There was only one rule: you may enter, but you must leave before the moon's light returns and touches the ground. As the night of the eclipse approached, my heart raced. I prepared infrared cameras, emergency gear, and a watch calibrated down to the second. The sky was perfectly clear. As the eclipse entered its partial phase, the cold became unnatural. Not ordinary cold, but something sharp, biting, as if the temperature dropped without reason. When Earth's shadow finally consumed the moon, everything went silent. No wind, no insects. A silence so deep it felt deafening. I walked toward the eastern valley, and what I saw there forever changed my understanding of reality. About 4 minutes into totality, when the moon glowed deep blood red, thin lines of light appeared in the valley. Not electric lights, but the warm, flickering glow of ancient lanterns. The city slowly revealed itself, as if an invisible curtain were being pulled aside. Stone buildings with breathtaking but ancient architecture emerged from nothingness. The streets were wet. The air smelled of damp earth and unfamiliar spices. I pressed record, but deep down, I knew no camera could ever truly capture what I was witnessing. I stepped inside. The city was silent, but not empty. Its inhabitants moved slowly, dressed like people from the medieval era. Their faces were pale, their eyes hollow, yet they seemed peaceful, resigned to their fate. I tried to speak. "Excuse me." No one reacted. They were like echoes of the past, allowed to walk our world for a brief moment. This was no longer an expedition. It was a forbidden visit, a window into frozen destiny. At the center of the city square, I saw an old well. Beside it stood a stone pillar, and attached to it was the source of my terror, a giant hourglass filled with deep crimson sand. I checked my watch. Totality would last 6 minutes and 15 seconds. The hourglass was already half empty. I had less than 3 minutes.
Curiosity turned into fear. I knew I had to leave immediately. But then I saw her, an old woman sitting at the edge of the market. Her eyes were different, filled with deep sadness. In her hands, she held a pendant identical to one my grandmother lost decades ago. My heart stopped. Was this fate or a cruel illusion? I took a step closer, then another.
Suddenly, a deep rumble echoed through the city, like massive iron doors sliding shut. The inhabitants began moving faster, disappearing into the stone walls one by one. And then I saw it. A thin silver light touched the top of the towers. Moonlight. Totality was ending. I turned and ran. I ran without looking back. When I crossed the edge of the valley, a thunderous crash exploded behind me, like thousands of shattering mirrors. I opened my eyes. The valley was empty. The moon was still red, but the city was gone. No lanterns, no walls, nothing. To this day, I have no clear visual proof, only blurred footage and a memory that refuses to fade. Was the night city a portal to the past? A parallel dimension? I don't know. All I know is this: I was there. This story still haunts me. I often wonder about the old woman and the pendant. If you have theories, or if you've heard similar legends where you live, share them in the comments. And if you enjoy stories about mysteries and lunar phenomena, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until the next story, stay safe and never look toward the eastern valley when the moon turns red.